So a little after a week after joining Free Thought Blogs, PZ Myers kicked me off. It seems that free thought really didn't extend as far as some minor political dissent on his views on feminism. Now, I know what a lot of you will be thinking. What, Free Thought Blogs actually banned you? Are you kidding me? Isn't that just like take the biscuit in terms of conjuring up all those Orwellian misnomers like the Ministry of Truth and the Department of Love and the Free Thought Blogs, where you've got absolute freedom to think as freely as you want, as long as those free thoughts actually agree with ours. However, joking aside, the thing that really made me sad about all of this was the lack of integrity shown by this man, PZ Myers, who makes no secret that he's a published academic at a university, and that's normally a man whose word I would take at face value without even batting an eyelid. And he gave me verbal assurances when I joined Free Thought Blogs that there would be no attempt to control the content, with the possible exception of some legal requirements. Other than that, I was 100% free to do whatever I wanted and to talk about whatever subject I wanted to. They stated that they had no real interest in controlling the content. Indeed, this was the only part of the conversation that was really important to me, as it was an assurance of academic integrity. Now, to an extent, such liberties exist only as long as you can use them. So I decided to challenge the plurality on a point that I thought they were way off base on, and that was the disproportionate amount of time they give to sexual harassment and to supporting crazies like Rebecca Watson, who first went off the deep end with all that stuff about coffee and elevators, and is now happily going around atheist conferences reporting the comments that she received from being trolled as an idiot were actually real rape threats from atheists.
Hundreds of atheists have informed me that either they wanted to rape me, someone should rape me so that I'll loosen up, or that no one would ever rape me because I'm so ugly.
I was soon very surprised to discover that PZ's word was essentially all but worthless, with all sorts trying to control what I said, with the result of this ultimatum from PZ Myers. A request to resign from your association from Free Thought Blogs. If there isn't enough irony from being banned from Free Thought Blogs, you have got to hear the rest of this email that I sent. This was the very email that ended up with me getting banned from Free Thought Blogs by a guy who gave me his word that no attempt would be made to control content. Paul, you would maybe be better served writing your blog posts to your colleagues in a similar fashion to your emails. Indeed, to be honest, if I had been handed your replies to my initial blog post blind, I would have not been able to distinguish them from that of a troll in 1. The pointless use of invective, 2. The extensive use of strawmen, 3. The lack of any serious attempt to engage with the actual argument made. I know that you have something reserving the right to publish emails, but I shall refrain from reciprocating in the first instance as a professional courtesy. I don't think this would serve any purpose. Well, clearly this is now something that we've moved on from, since they decided to kick me off the blog for the content of my posts. But the core of your email is very poor form coming from an academic, especially one who deigns to use the word tenure. And I do not understand what you could possibly hope to gain from laying down such terms against your name in the paper trail. The core of the academic process is that people be allowed to advance arguments on their merits, and your suggestion that dissenters should be offloaded is a very poor show indeed. I know you understand this, which is why it's so regrettable that you would put forward such an argument. Let me put this in terms maybe closer to your heart. 1. Person B thinks there is sexism at Institute A. Person B doesn't like the perceived sexism at Institute A and raises the issue. Your proposed solution is to suggest that person B should resign from Institute A so that they and everyone else would be happier. Further, your second email has now the implied solution. We'd like an acknowledgement before we take any action that a group lynching awaits person B for raising such issues. I think the contrary is true. Free Thought Blogs is enriched by people who are not afraid to speak their minds to the plurality, and the plurality shows its integrity by not ejecting dissenting views. This is, of course, the origin of tenure. It's how we move past the safe consensus of dogma and suffer the slings and arrows that we may be wrong. I have no interest in making this a personal thing, as this would demonstrate a significant failure to maintain focus. However, when faced with the level of strawmanning and invective from someone as so prominent in the field as yourself as presented, I have few other options other than to address the bullshit directly. I don't expect you to agree with me, beyond the necessity for an open forum where people are not afraid to speak their minds. I should also like to add that many people have tried to stop me from saying things that they didn't like under various forms of duress. Scientologists, Muslims, creationists, libertarians, theologians/philosophers, etc. I think it's now a matter that you should thoughtfully reflect on, is that you are now suggesting taking such action against me because I expressed views on feminism. Best wishes, Thunderfoot. And with that, I was banned from freethoughtblogs. And if that just didn't drip with irony, I was banned by the very man who gave me his personal assurances that no attempt would be made to control the content of what I talked about. Really, PZ, I just cannot express how disappointed I am in your utter lack of academic integrity. I mean, if you think that PZ Myers has acted shamelessly here, both in terms of his inability to take criticism and his dishonesty, send the guy a tweet letting him know your opinion about what you think about his behaviour.